My youngest daughter is a senior in high school. One of her best friends, Lily, just turned 18 as the school year was starting, and her parents kicked her out of the house that same day. My daughter told me she was sleeping on different friends' couches and talking about dropping out to work a job. So my family took her in so she could finish school. I just can't imagine a parent kicking their kid out like that. So, after we did that, my daughter and Lily decided to have a community barbecue bake sale to fundraise for some money to cover food and housing expenses. It wasn't anything I ever asked for, but the girls wanted to do something to contribute for groceries and bills. The girls made flyers and little promos for social media, and they were pretty straightforward about what was going on. They said community barbecue fundraiser for Lily, and a note from Lily saying, "As you may know, my parents kicked me out of the house and cut off any financial support on my 18th birthday, leaving me homeless with no money or car. The Smiths gave me a home, expecting nothing in return, except that I stay in school and graduate. I wanted to do something to give back and pay my own way." Anyway, I shared that on social media, and so did the girls and a lot of their friends at school. The barbecue was a huge success, almost all of our neighbors came by, and so many kids from my daughter's school, and a lot of our family and family friends. The girls ended up raising several $1,000s which I ended up putting in an education fund for Lily, where I'm also putting stuff like the cash she gives me from her job for groceries and stuff like that. I'm planning on surprising her with it closer to graduation. Anyway, Lily's parents are irate. They saw that I posted the flyer on the community Facebook page, and most everyone in town saw it. I got a call from her dad screaming into the phone at me for slandering their family online. Which I felt like was such crap. I told him to either buck up and act like a parent ought to, or lose my number. He started yelling on the phone again, so I hung up and blocked his number. Then I got a bunch of calls from another number. It was Lily's mom, getting angry at me about how I don't know what she and her husband have been through, and it was trashy of me to be begging the whole town for money for myself and acting like it was their fault. I was like, well, it was your fault? And she got so angry and said that she and her husband had given their daughter everything, and she was ungrateful, which I feel is crap because they ain't even giving her a roof over her head. Am I the idiot for letting my daughter and her friend who was kicked out at 18 host a fundraiser that was very blunt that it was to raise money after her family kicked her out? Not the idiot. Frankly, that's just a crap thing for a parent to do. If they didn't want to get slandered, maybe don't kick your child out the instant they become an adult. As many people have pointed out, it isn't actually slander against the parents if it's true. I used slander for lack of a better term, so for that I apologize. The idea that kids magically become adults the moment they turn 18 is such crap. These crappy parents were only acting as parents because they were legally required to be. The moment their child was legally an adult they felt like they were off the hook. I'm sure their daughter is better off without them, but what a difficult journey that is. Loving parents try to make their kids' life better, not worse. Not the idiot. Not the idiot, they're just annoyed, they've been called out on their crappy behavior, and now everyone knows about their crappy parenting. They're ashamed and angry that they've been exposed, but they're putting the blame on you instead of reflecting on their own issues. You could end the thread right there, honestly. They kicked an 18-year-old out on day one of adulthood, unprepared in the slightest. Unless she's the worst person ever, that's absolutely trash. Not the idiot. Imagine kicking your high schooler out of the house and then getting upset at people trying to help her out. They're probably pissed they can't get their hands on the fundraiser money. Right? They sound like the type of parents who think their daughter owes them something since they gave her life, even though she didn't ask to be born. Infuriating. My wife and I bought a 4-bedroom house in PA that my son lives in. Our son went to college in PA and wanted to stay in the area. So we bought the house as a second home. We live in NJ and commute to Manhattan for work. We figured that he would have a place to live and we could visit every so often and spend some quality time together. We pay the taxes and services maintenance on the house, our son pays for his groceries and the house utilities. All was going well for a few years, our son meets a girl and they get serious. We met her and she seems nice enough. They announce their engagement and she moves into the house with our son. Now for the problem. The wedding we hold a little get-to-know-you BBQ at the PA house, my son and daughter are there, as are our son's fiancée and her parents and sisters. We all seem to be getting along well, my wife, daughter, and fiancé go into the house along with her mother and sisters and my son. A few minutes later my wife and daughter come out and are really upset. They come over and tell me we're leaving and driving back to NJ. I try to find out what happened. Once we get back to New Jersey and they calm down, they tell me that our son and his fiancée along with her family don't want us at the wedding. According to what I was told, we're not their kind of people. I was livid. I called my son and asked him WTH this was about. He tells me that her family feels that we are not good enough and will embarrass them at a family wedding and that we are all uninvited from the wedding. I let a week go by to calm myself down and drive back to the PA house. The new future in-laws are in the house along with the fiancé. It appears that they all moved into the house. They ask me why I'm there. I tell them that since we aren't invited to the wedding, I was coming over to talk to my son. They tell me to leave their house. I lost it and told them that they had 30 days to get out. Tell my son I'm selling the house and he could find somewhere else to live with all of you. I go to a realtor in town and list the house for sale. They call my son at work and tell him what I said. Apparently, they thought that he owned the house. He calls me and asks why I'm selling his house. I tell him I paid for it along with the taxes on it and it is mine. He was living there rent-free, but since he doesn't want us in his new life, he has to get out. I tell him the same as I told his future in-laws, they have 30 days to get out, then I'll get a lawyer and get them evicted. Am I the idiot for taking a hard stance on this? He is my son, but the in-laws seem to take over and we no longer count. Not the idiot. You don't need a lawyer in 30 days, you need one now. I am not familiar with PA tenant laws etc., but you need to follow everything by the book so that can't contest anything. I would also go back and videotape, with a timestamp, the entire property, inside and out, so they can be held accountable for any damage done. Not the idiot. They all moved into your house? That's so bizarre. Tell them they're not your kind of people, aka squatters. Not the idiot. I actually find it hilarious that he is so entitled to the house he didn't even expect you to take it back after his actions. I believe this is exactly the reality check he needed. 5 years ago I made a commitment to get at least 20,000 steps every day and I've stuck to it every day. It hasn't been easy, but it's something that really felt important to me. I was fat and stuck in a very sedentary lifestyle and miss it. Making the commitment forced me to get up, take long walks, and then pick up running, and overall be mindful of no longer being a lazy person. I've slimmed down and I'm overall much happier and healthier than I was, physically and especially mentally. Other side effects are that my home is cleaner, I know more of my neighbors, I've seen a lot of great street art, etc. It's not something that really impacts my day beyond making sure I have the time, but for some reason, it really pisses my soul off. I don't make a big deal yelling. Gotta get my steps in every. Hey everyone. My steps getting them. Or anything. We were at the park with her kids and she asked me if I was still doing that silly step thing and I said yeah, I felt pretty good about it. She said that she worries about me and how obsessive I am about it. I told her that I don't think I'm obsessive, that it's just part of my daily routine, like taking a shower or cleaning up. Well, she got all weird and started saying, I bet you can't give it up for just one day. Just one day. See, you're addicted. It's an obsession. It's unhealthy. I told her that I'm not addicted, again, the same way I'm not addicted to taking a shower or brushing my teeth. It's just a part of my lifestyle now. That I'm not going to give up and break my streak just to prove a point would be ridiculous. I suggested maybe she could join me and try it for a few days, and she went off saying that I was calling her fat. She went around pestering everyone in the family to challenge myself by taking a day off. She switched her tune and is now trying to guilt me by telling me it's setting a unrealistic expectation for my nieces and nephews. I think that's ridiculous and obviously, if I'm doing it, it's not unrealistic. Her biggest complaint is that for the past few holiday meals we've had together, I make a big show of getting up and taking a walk afterward, like I'm trying to prove something to someone. I told her that it's pretty common and that some families go on runs together in the morning of Thanksgiving or take a hike. She told me that I was effectively shaming everyone because they wanted to relax. I think that's ridiculous, but she insists that it's insulting to everyone and makes me an obsessed idiot. Am I the idiot? P.S. I think it's worth adding that my Sil isn't fat. At least, I don't see her as fat or overweight or anything. Also, I don't have an eating disorder and I'm not replacing one addiction with another. Not the idiot. Beyond the fact, that is your body and your choice. Your sil needs to mind her own damn business. If anything, you're setting a good example to the kids. It's a healthy and low-impact way of exercising. Not the idiot. You do realize you're the one who's decided to launch a full-out campaign against me, literally putting one foot in front of the other, right? I don't know what your issue here is, but I refuse to make it mine, so drop the subject. Please. If she won't, then just reiterate that you're not discussing this with her and block mute make alternate socializing plans or be prepared to leave if she starts in as necessary. Not the idiot. This is 100% about her insecurities, which is why she is accusing you of doing this to judge others rather than because it is good for you. Maybe she should go a day without drinking any fluids. I bet she can't give that up for just one day. She's addicted.